I stream a lot on my iPhone, so when I set it up, I was tired. I just woke up about an hour and a half ago. It's 6:30 a.m. here in Australia. It's Tuesday. I see the boys are in the house already. As you boys are tapping in, we got a lot to talk about. We do have a lot to talk about. I want to firstly, obviously, we're going to focus on Australia. My hair, I look fucking crazy. I look insane, dude. But I've been up, researching. I want to first let you know that I just posted it in the Discord group. Easy money line. This is for the big betters. I already talked to Muscles. There's a 50% return. It's only $1.50. So if you're just nickel and diamond and just betting for entertainment, a 50% return on your bet really isn't going to be too saucy. But if you're betting 20 grand and you want 10 grand back, that's a 50% return. Without getting too fancy, Lucas Body, Yankiel Rivera, and Tellez on the money line, a 3-leg parlay. If you want to win those 3 legs, that's going to be my lock of the week. It's $1.50. I just want to cover that right now. Not everybody can make my live streams, so I just want to cover that right now. $100 gets you $50 in return. Also, I want to say, Australians, go to Bet365. Sportsbet cooked us. I talked about it yesterday in the lives. Sportsbet will lose a ticket if it's a draw. Bet365 avoids that ticket if it's a draw. So all the Americans on my picks last week would have won every fight. The Aussies, we got screwed due to Omar Trinidad. That's the last I'm going to say about that. All right, moving forward, I see everybody's in the house. Goat, what's up, buddy? The Fighters Paradise podcast. We in like swimwear. James Drummond, what's up, James? We got... where are you from? Not Orange, Australia. Bathurst in the house. Mars, salute. King Ty, are you adding Jermaine to your locks? I have it, like I said, that's just one pick. You know what I'm saying? So we got a long week. Obviously, I'm going to be covering the Jermaine Ortiz fight. We know he's not fighting Steve Claggett. So the Claggett fight is off, but Jermaine Ortiz is still fighting. We got Jack Rafferty versus Chamberlain. I'm going to do a long parlay. The long parlay is my weekly money line parlay. We hit last week. If you live anywhere but Australia, we've hit 3 weeks in a row on that long parlay. I'm just getting it out of the way now. There's a 3-leg lock, $1.50. I'm taking it. I already put it up in the Discord. Guys, if you haven't joined the Discord, hit the link that's pinned. The Johnny Says Boxing VIP link there. As you can tell, Adu, Christian Morales, Mar the Prince, Goat, everybody with those blue stars gets access to the Discord. We're growing. We started about a month ago. We're about 170 members in there now. You got Chilltown Boxing's in there, Muscles in there, Gary's in there, a bunch of other people. Pro fighters are in there. Amateur fighters are in there. It's a really cool community we're building. I want to give another shout out to Mayweather. He goes by Mayweather in our Discord last weekend. I didn't know that you could stream fights in there, so we were watching the UK fights. We were watching the UFC. So yeah, it's cool to learn something every day. Also, I'm going to get to Australia. Guys, I got some insider information. I got videos sent to me. Now, I can't, I'm never going to give away my source, so I'm not going to give you away my source. But if you're paying attention to the Brock Jarvis fight, this guy, he started off yesterday. Brock Jarvis was $1.11 on the money line. The odds have swung now to $1.34. Now, I also got video of Jarvis sparring last week. And all I'm going to say is it doesn't look good. Now, obviously, I must not be the only one getting that video of Jarvis sparring, because I think people were messaging me out the woodwork. I attribute that line going from $1.11 to $1.34 probably because within Australia, people are probably getting maybe the same insider info. Maybe it's different. But one of my guys who was holding the camera. We got to remember, Sammy Beck is a 160-pounder fighting at 154. Brock Jarvis, only a few fights ago, was fighting at 126. This fight's at 154. We last saw Brock get stopped against Keith. Sam Beck is an aggressive fighter, taller fighter, bigger guy. From the footage I saw, and you guys could lean on, you guys could either believe me, if not, I'm taking Beck, man. Brock did not look good in sparring. He wasn't taking punches well. Rumor is he has an injury to the body. So that's all I could say. Obviously, I'm not the only one who knows this. Now, whenever there's insider information, I go into this as sort of experimentary. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't want to listen to that, you don't have to. Also, there's another fight. Another one of my guys who's, I'm not going to give you away my source. He's an amateur. He was sparring so there's a kid who's making his debut. If you guys could get Blair Garrity by stoppage, take him. Rumor on the street is Blair Garrity could crack. He's fighting a guy named Seguba. Right now, Garrity is a big favorite on the money line. If you could get Garrity by stoppage, take him. All right, I'm going to get to some of these comments because you guys are popping. James Drummond, what's up? Brendan in the house. Mar the Prince. Christian Morales, my guy. King Ty, what's up? Adu, what's the deal with Brock? Should I pull my bets? Adu, I'm going, like I said, I'm going Beck. What do you say the 3 bets were? In the Discord, I put them up. Sammy Martin, Tella's looking real juicy. Yep. Aaron Gianella, what's up, buddy? Nick Ball by decision plus 220. We're eating. Steezo, hey, dude, hope you're well. Been watching for a while. Good to have you commenting, big dog. You're welcomed here. I appreciate the support, too. Guys, we're at 42 people on the live. Let's get those likes up. Also, if you hit on any of my picks, let me know if you hit last week. Let me know if you hit the week before. We're out here eating. Kevin Minis, receive your healing now in the name of Jesus. Receive your deliverance, Jesus Cristo. We have much love for Jesus Cristo and all of their denominations that anybody else feels the need to, support. No judgment. Too Crispy Chris, my guy. What's up? Goat in the house. Love it. Dude, the insider info. So what I'm thinking of, guys, on the Discord, I'm thinking of doing so what I think I'm going to do on the Discord, so I'm not sharing the video all around, it's sparring footage. I think I'm going to go on the Discord and do a live. It's only about 90 seconds. I got to figure out how to do it. So share my screen. You guys could see it, and then you make your own assessment. All I'm telling you is he's in there a week ago with an amateur who, that's all I'm saying, mate. He doesn't look good. His punch resilience, it looks like, the rumor is he has an injury. That's all I'm saying. That's the rumor. I mean, if he goes in there and stops Beck, take this info for what you will. I'm betting on Beck to win. That's all I'm saying. Sector MMA, is Sam Beck good? I'm not in the Discord. PJ, join the Discord. Click that link. Victor Vallejo. Victor's new to the Discord. Jay, appreciate you. Yeah, the people in the Discord are eating, man. We're out here. Dude, that group, I love that group. If I would have known Goat and the boys were asking me to start a Discord like 6 months ago. If I would have known that this is what it does, man, I would have started a long time ago. To join the Discord, you join here first. Become a Johnny Says Boxing Insider on YouTube, and then you get access. Is the punch resistance gone? How the F do you get us? So I'm saying stomach, Goat, rib injury. So and also, mate, the stories about him coming into sparring, there's just a lot of layers to the message. I woke up yesterday, multiple sources messaging me about this fight. Can't give enough. There's just so much I could say. All I'm saying is, if you want to listen, you could listen. You don't have to listen. It's similar to when we got the sources about Sulecki, when we got the sources about Mibili by first round knockout. Those came in and hit. When we heard that, Sulecki, his opponent was injured, and we went heavy on him and got the dub. So it's similar to that. I'm getting coaches. There's coaches within Australia who are messaging me on Instagram telling me certain things. Coaches. This is why I'm talking about why I'm always eating in Australia. The last 3 fight cards I've been to in Sydney were look, take it however you want. It's insane how many people were messaging me about certain fights on this fight card. Sparring partners saying, hey, mate, he didn't look good. Because of my reverence for him, I'm not going to send the footage to so-and-so. It's insane what's going on. Everybody has a little action on it. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, Daily Dig. Hey, bro, love the Discord. Would you ever do a channel for each card? Daily Dig, I'm still figuring out how to use the Discord. So for me, we have channels on MMA, boxing, parlays, and my locks. I think that's pretty, isn't that enough? I think if I'm understanding your question. Ray Ford, Brendan is going to come in. The money's going to come in, big dog. Oladeji, are you betting on the Clenshaw Jacob steady? Yeah. Okay. So this is another one. Tenny Oladeji is saying, so Clenshaw, we just saw Clenshaw fight 2 weeks ago. He didn't look good. Clenshaw was a 5-1 favorite. He looked flat. He didn't look good. And he's going into this Jacob Setti fight as also a favorite. Tenny, what I think I'm going to do is, because he's in plus money, I think I'm going to load up on a money line parlay and sprinkle a little bit on it, including Setti to beat Clenshaw. But I think where I'm going to go heavy on are one-off bets on the money line for Beck. And then also, guys, there's another one, the Olympian. I've been back and forth on this one, and you can take this however you want it. But Ahmad Reda is $1.37. He's fighting Bruno Tarimo. Guys, I know Bruno's coach. Bruno's coach was messaging me. Bruno's coached by Ben Sava. Ben Sava, Brit, turned Aussie. Great little career. I think Ben retired. I think he might have been 19-1, 19-2. Good coach. You know, he currently has a world champion. I think his girlfriend, his fiance, just won a world title. She's Colombian. People are sleeping on Bruno, mate. Look at Bruno's resume. Look at his box rec. Granted, the thing is, Bruno, he's cut his teeth at 126. This fight is the 140 vacant, so the super lightweight vacant sort of intercontinental thing, whatever they call it. But Rada isn't a big dude either. They're both gonna be 5-5. Bruno has victories over Fleming. If you guys know anything about the domestic scene in Australia, Fleming is a hell of a fighter. I mean, yeah, Paul Fleming, world-class fighter, actually. Paul Fleming's only loss is to the kid, Charlie Suarez. Paul Fleming, Olympian, 1 loss. Great pro. He's coming back. He'll be fighting next month against Billy Dibb. Bruno, I think he either drew with Fleming or he beat him. He fought Nathaniel May. He's fought Takai. He took Takai into deep waters, ended up getting stopped late. Bruno Torino is a very live dog. And if you're playing statistics, if we're playing the numbers as we did, think about it. Whenever we get Olympians with under 10 fights, we've seen this pattern. We saw Galal Yafai lose to Frankie Rodriguez. Granted, Frankie popped, but Galal Yafai, 11 pro fights. Frankie, a 35-plus fight pro. We saw it in Turkey. Albert Badagaziev, an Olympian, under 10 or 11 pro fights, came in and fought a veteran, Jazza Dickens. Dickens beat him, stopped him. So if you're playing numbers, if you're playing patterns, I think it's worth sprinkling something on Bruno. That's all I'm going to say. I'll let you know my final parlay tomorrow. It's just something to think about. James Drummond, damn, I want to move my fight 70 down the... No, keep your fights there. Is Mayweather streaming Wednesday night? I don't know, James, but the Discord's open to you boys. I'm going to be at the fights. I spelled your name, Johnny. Yeah, it's Jonny. Blue collar, where are you guys seeing the Beck odds? The Beck odds are both on Sportsbet and Bet365. So if you go to Bet365 for the international boys, you'll see them. Aussies, you'll see them on both. She's Colombian like me. Nice big W mujer. Told you Latinas got... Yeah, Latinas. Raw Dog, Virgil destroys eyes. Different conversation, Raw Dog. We got business in front of us. Guys, 52 people in the chat like this video. Daily Dig says channels per card to make it easier to... Yeah, it's great, bro. Just other groups have specific channels per card so you can follow specific discussions on the fights. We'll let the chat see. I know there's a couple boys here. Goat, what do you think about that? It's something to think about, Daily Dig. I'll think about it. I'll ask around. Billy Dibb's still around. Yeah, Billy Dibb's still around. True story. Mar the Prince, Sofia Umiha. Yes. So the French Olympian, Sofia Umiha. So this is something to think about, guys. It's this weird pattern that's emerging with these Olympians. I think it's going to be too much too soon. I got to be honest. For Ahmad Rida. Rida does have a lot of hype. He talks a big game. He wanted to fight because he beat Harry Garside in the amateurs, and Garside has all this hype in Australia. So they did this alleged $100,000 bet that never came to fruition. So, Rida has said the right things to keep his name in the media. What's up, DJ? Sector MMA, Beck by knockout. See, this is Sector. People, this is a bet and a prop that I know some people who sprinkle money on Beck to stop Brock. Pedro Cabrales, how good is Nikita compared to Tim? Nikita's like, he's his own fighter. I like Nikita. He's a brave fighter. He has a big following in Australia domestically because of his style. I actually think he's more aggressive than Tim. And, he's all power punches. Is Nikita world level? I don't know, man. Then again, I don't ever want to shade a guy. He's young. He's a little bit younger. He's coming off, I think, a shoulder. He's had surgery. He hasn't fought in about a year, but he's a dog. He calls it, you know, he calls himself the butcher for a reason. Nikita Tszyu is a dog. He's going to be in a dog fight. He's fun to watch, all action. The crazy thing about that is Tim is actually a little bit more hesitant than Nikita, and we know how all action Tim is, which is insane. Nikita, I should also mention Nikita's a southpaw. If you've never seen Nikita fight, mate, this dude literally comes straight to the middle of the ring, ducks his lead shoulder, and throws his backhand like this. Stays in the pocket. Nikita gets hit way too much, but he's obviously one of these fighters who's not in it for longevity. He's in it for the shine. He's in it for the thrill of the fight. The dude is a born fighter. Doesn't really like the spotlight too much. Says some outlandish, gnarly stuff online, and this is why people love him. He's a character. Nikita's way bigger of a character than Tim. Wish I could join the Discord. You are. Victor, you are in the Discord. Oh, the numbers on your phone don't work. Victor, I'll send you the link then. Victor, all you have to do is click a link to get the Discord access. Are you betting Wednesday night? Yep. How do you feel about Jake Wiley? The Jake Wiley fight happens later in the week in Australia than the weekend. I'll let you know when we get there. Goat, I don't mind how it's designed now personally. Yeah, I kind of like it too. James Drummond, are you doing moneyline or TKO against Brock? So James Drummond, I'm going to put my exact tickets up. You know, and if, look, whenever we got insider info, especially rolling on the dogs, don't go too heavy. You think he just needs time to call that? Daniel Vega says, have you guys been paid out for the Ford fight? I think some people have. Are you doing method of victory or money line for Nikita? More, I think there's not really a lot of juice right now on Nikita on the money line. Let's check it. Currently, Nikita on the money line's $1.04, and my book isn't going to let me take. Oh, yeah, it is. Nikita by stoppage at $1.19. Nikita by decision at $5.90. This is a 10-round fight. I'll let you know. It's a good question. I think the juice, obviously the value will be Nikita to stop him. Pedro Rafferty versus Chamberlain. It's another great fight coming up. Guys, we got a lot of fights. If you're new to the channel, the way I like to do it is focus on the fights at hand and then work our way to the weekend. We have Wednesday night here in Sydney. I'll be at the fights. It's your Tuesday if you're in America. Then we have another fight card in Australia. I think it's up in the Goldie with Sky Nicholson and the kid who fought George, Jake Wiley. And then we have, obviously, Florida. I think I'm going to do a live stream with TJ from Chilltown. We're going to talk about the Yenis Tillis fight card. Tillis is on that fight card. Jermaine Ortiz is fighting. And then Yankiel Rivera is fighting. And that's kind of the three-leg that I really like. Right now, if you just put Yankiel Rivera, Tillis, and Lucas Body on that money line, which I have high comfortability they're going to win, that's a 50% return rate. So it's something to think about. I'll be posting all that in the Discord. Young Killer, everyone is in boxing is on undetectable steroids. Okay. Clifton Dennis, Johnny giving perfect picks last weekend. Clifton, come on, baby. This is what we do. Boxing fan, Young Killer, we bet. I know. Boxing fan, Boxing Man got there before I could get there. Tyler Randolph, what's up? What's up, Tyler? Victor Vallejo, in my opinion, I love the way you shadow by. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a weirdo. You guys know that. We're not all, yeah. We're all personalities, aren't we? I've always been a little bit off. But you either love me or you don't mess with me. I'm the type of guy to put an exclamation point on that comment, Victor. I'm the type of guy that I have lifelong friends. Loyalist, but it's kind of hard for me to meet new people off jump. I think maybe that's an everybody sort of thing. Young Killer says betting is not a reliable source. Young Killer, don't tell. I mean, it's a risk like anything, but I know some guys who make a living off of it in this live stream. James Drummond, I don't think Nikita will win. Yeah, Drummond. Yeah, I think you're spot on. Nikita, he started boxing late. I don't even know if Nikita would say he's in it to win world titles, which sounds insane. Why would you roll the dice on such a savage career trajectory if you're not going to try to win world titles? I think Nikita could get to a world. I mean, I think he could get to a world title though. Isn't that crazy? I think he could fight. What's he fighting? Um, let's see where Nikita's ranked. I mean, he's already ranked at 24. You know, he's probably if he gets another stoppage, super well fighting at 154. I mean, shit, dude. If you you know, you win a couple more fights, they're gonna throw him in there with somebody. I think the thing about Nikita Tszyu is when he gets into the ring with somebody who's super classy and a high operator, it's not going to look good for him. You know what I'm saying? But look at the rankings. Nikita Tszyu is right behind Brandon Adams, which is kind of insane. And it's good to see Brandon Adams fighting Serhii Boachik again, so that should be a fun fight. It's 50-50. Clifton says, I swear you do some of your best work with these low profile. Yeah. I do my best work. I feel, yeah, I don't know. I know with the UFC, my fight night picks are always on point. I got murdered with, I don't really take pride in the pay-per-view fights, and I told you that with MMA. But the fight night picks, we've hit 21 in a row. Have you watched Barral fight before? I have. Blue Collar says, man, Cordova is a good fighter. I don't think he should be a 7-1 dog. There's a lot of good fighters on that card, though. So I'm not disagreeing with you. Is he a 7-1 dog? Yeah, I got him at 6-1. I don't think he's good enough to beat Yankiel. There's some boys on our Discord who are really high on Yankiel Rivera. I know that TJ from Chilltown really likes Yankiel Rivera. We'll see. I have it at a 6-1 blue collar. I don't think, I mean, that's not enough for me to say he's going to beat Rivera. There's the Rafa card is listed for Wednesday. Yeah, so Mar, it's Wednesday, my Wednesday night, so I guess it's your Wednesday morning. Spot on. PJ, you're not posting no. Yeah, I did. PJ, I posted my long parlay on our YouTube. I posted every week, PJ, I post my money line long parlay for everybody on our YouTube. I gave you guys my upset of the week on YouTube, which didn't hit, and the UFC pick. I give you guys a lot, dude. And if you watch the live streams, I'm telling you who I'm taking. Dude just came in the chat being objectively wrong. Goat. You know, it's a tough crowd to come in here speaking reckless, isn't it? Between boxing fan, Goat, Mar, people will hold you accountable. If I miss it. If I don't catch it, somebody's gonna hold you accountable. Pedro, he's at 154, the toughest division. Yep. Talk about Nikita. Humble Crumble in the house. Hi from the UK. We got some we got some good UK fights coming up too, man. Chamberlain's fighting. How do you guys see that one playing out? Rafferty versus Chamberlain. Everybody's on board with Rafferty to beat Chamberlain. Is anybody rolling the dice with Chamberlain on that fight? Chamberlain right now is almost a 3-1 dog. Dwayne Styles, what's up, my guy? Victor Vallejo, love when you do that. It's all good. We're all weirdos. I had 3-1s on Saturday. Hrgovic cost me. You didn't take Hrgovic, mate. Come on, bro. We had Hrgovic. We took Hrgovic by decision and on the money line on 2 separate parlays. Zhang is going to knock out Johnny Walker. I agree. King Ty, we talked about Johnny Walker yesterday on the live stream. He just puts his hand up to get starched. It's almost like Dana's like, all right, Johnny, we'll keep you in the UFC. You got to travel to China. You got to travel here, and you're going to probably get starched. But we won't cut you because people like watching you get knocked out. We'll see. Iglesias Shishkin will be on the punching grace according to Boxing Scene. That's a good fight, mate. Iglesias versus Shishkin. When is that fight's not this weekend, is it? Dwayne Styles in the house. DJ Green, we definitely will call you out. I'll be at 100. Henry Williams, yo Johnny, what are Mikey Zarafa's chances versus Dahlem? I think Zarafa should get it done. Michael Dahlman, I think that it's a great question. So Michael Dahlman, those odds right now, Dahlman's a huge underdog. This is a fight that's, okay, guys, we talked about this before on the live stream about Australia, how the promoters, I think it's starting to be known internationally about sort of the corruption in boxing politics in terms of a one-sided approach. You know, it's no secret that No Limit Boxing has the Australian pay-per-view on sort of a chokehold. It's no secret for the last few years, all they did was promote Timmy Tszyu. No Limit didn't promote George. No Limit didn't promote Liam. No Limit didn't promote pretty much any other fighter not named Tszyu, okay? That being said, there's been this fight domestically that the fans have wanted to see for a long time. Zerafa versus Tszyu. This is the fight. With Tszyu's most recent losses, with what he's looked like, this Michael Zerafa fight versus Dahlman is a feeder fight for Zerafa and Tszyu to actually fight and give Zerafa a big headline opportunity in his country and give Tszyu an opportunity to look good again. So I have no doubt in my mind that Zerafa looks good. I mean, we hit Zerafa stopped his last few opponents. I mean, granted, they weren't really high-level competition, but you're probably referring to when he went in and got stopped against Lara. Zerafa's issue is every time he stepped up. But Zerafa, you know, he's a hard worker. I have no doubt that he doesn't get that victory. Choi B, Jazzy Parr, yep. I remember Jazzy Parr when she was a little kid. I once interviewed her dad, John Wayne Parr, the legend. John Wayne Parr, Jazzy's dad, was the first white Westerner from Australia to win a Lupini championship, meaning a Muay Thai championship. So that was in 2016. Jazzy was a little kid. And Jazzy's mom. Jazzy's mom is a world famous, damn it, I forget her name. She's one of the most famous Muay Thai fighters in history. She's an American. So when John Wayne, her name will come to me. So Jazzy comes from good stock. Ortiz got a new opponent. Nice made, dude, man. Hombre, everyone. Dwayne Styles, I saw your comment on the UFC Instagram about, did you see that, Dwayne? I got a troll too, brother. I got a troll too. Henry Williams, Peter Quillen almost ended Zerafa in New York. He did. True. Yeah, I don't think Michael Dahlman's Peter Quillen. James Drummond, No Limit did the dirty to Zerafa. Yep, they did. So if you guys didn't know, No Limit calls Michael Zerafa and his team a day before the press conference and says, hey, mate, we don't need you here. What's up, my guy? Bum Equipment coming through with the super chat. That's awesome, brother. So Bum Equipment with the super chat, a little tip from a little win, baby steps. Appreciate you, brother. That goes a long way. I love when you guys win. Dude, nothing better than when you guys take my tips and win. You know what I mean? Like I always say, I'd rather you guys win than me. And this is what we do. But to put a exclamation point on that comment, so No Limit, George Rose, the Rose brothers, one of their affiliates who run No Limit, calls Team Zerafa and says a day before the promotions here in Sydney, you don't have to come. We don't need you to come, right? Zerafa doesn't come. And then during the press conference, Zerafa's not there. Then No Limit releases a press release to the national media talking about Michael Zerafa no-showed on his own card. So what they're doing is spinning a fake narrative. Zerafa comes out and releases a statement. A bunch of coaches, I got tagged in a statement, so I shared it on my Instagram. And it's just another, and I commented to No Limit. I sent them a message. I was like, see, this is where you guys missed the ball. This is why you guys have lost so much credibility within Australia, is that Michael Zerafa already sells. Zerafa is marketable. He's had a good career. You know, he's fought internationally, fought domestically. Things haven't always gone his way, but he has a strong following. People support the kid. He's given his whole entire career to the sport of boxing. You guys didn't have to spin and manufacture a fake narrative. He already sells. And so for them to have done that for the sake of Michael Zerafa's reputation, it's freaking horrible. So rumor is floating around that Zerafa there's some sort of defamation going on in terms of legality. So we'll see what happens. Talk about the Contender Series. We'll get there in a second, Crispy Chris. We are 30 minutes, entering 30 minutes on this live. One last shout out to the Super Chat Bum Equipment. I appreciate you. The Super Chats are always much appreciated. It's more about you than it is about me, by the way, because that's just a signifier that you guys are listening and winning and supporting the channel. If any way you can support, whether like this video, subscribe, also get in the Discord where all the boys are, stand on all 10, young and no sleeves. Goat says, I need all those Wednesday fight options on my book, only getting Zerafa. Goat, so guys, for you Americans, is Bet365 an American site or is that an Aussie site? I thought it was international. David Eister says, you know, a guy I used to be impressed with was Gio Marquez. Now he looks average. It's another father-son duo. Yeah. I mean, boxing is a brutal sport, David. Daily Dig, are they trying to fade Zerafa? Daily Dig, what they're trying to do is what they've always done to Zerafa. They want to market and pigeonhole him as the villain. You know what I'm saying? to set up, like I told you, that Tszyu fight. So they're marketing Tszyu as the savior of Aussie boxing. He wouldn't say that. Timmy wouldn't say that. But anybody in Australia knows what's kind of going on, and they want a good versus evil thing. That's what they want domestically, and that fight's gonna happen. Bum Equipment says, I missed the first half of the live, but your boy Goodman showed up. Nova showed up to fight too. Yeah, both guys look good. Yep, I told you guys I was cheering for Sammy Boy, but I bet on Nick Ball. We got that one right. We got all of them right on the boxing side of things. History Vault in the house. Euro site. Okay, so to answer the question, I guess Bet365 is a Euro site. Wow, you're only getting Zarafa on 3. Oh, here's what you got to do, Blue Collar. So Bet365 is weird. So Blue Collar, pull the app right now. In the search bar of Bet365, type in Brock Jarvis. Or type in boxing in the search bar on the Bet365 app. That's what I have to do. So if you just bring Bet365 up, you'll only get 1 or 2 fights. But what you have to do is in that search bar, either type in boxing or type in Nikita Tszyu. And I'm pretty sure all the fights will come up. Let me know if that works. Jesus Ramos ducking that smoke. Yeah, Jesus allegedly that contract got sent to his uncle Abel. If you guys know what we're talking about, Jesus Ramos and Abel Ramos allegedly got confused by the boots camp. I only got to Rafa, Stezo in the house. I'm from the UK. I use Bet365. How is fighting Mosley Jr. proven anything? Has a name, I guess. Victor Vallejo. Dwayne Styles. Didn't Zarafa fight Regis and dropped him? No. I don't think... No. Michael Zarafa is a big guy. Zarafa never fought Prograis. I don't think he did. There's a total of 2 different divisions. No. Yeah, different guy. GMS put on the fit. What's up, guys? You think anyway MJ goes the distance? Do you think Mabili and less? Ooh, great questions, GMS. We'll get to that soon. Those are 2 fights I can't wait to break down. Zarafa knockout early or late? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I'll get back to you. I'm going to make all my picks official tomorrow. We're in the brainstorming phase. I like him by stoppage, though. There's Mono Ramos and Jesus Abel Ramos. Yeah, did you... There's a couple Ramoses. I'm stuck on Bovada. Mosley Jr. has gotten better. I was at the Shane Mosley Jr. fight when he was on the undercard of Manny Pacquiao, Jeff Horn. I think it was Mosley. You know, it was kind of... He came internationally, and he lost. He got upset down in up in Queensland. I was there. Dwayne, oops, David Iser. But even so, you don't run down another fighter from a lower weight class. Yeah, certain guys always do that, though, right? Aren't there... Think about what your boy Tank Davis does. Isn't Tank notorious for doing what you just said? Blue Collar Living, no, it didn't work. I'll check it tomorrow. Check it tomorrow, man. Tomorrow the Prince Hearn made a statement saying he sent it both. How to join the Discord. Niak, the Discord is pinned in this chat. Do you see, Niak, it says join my VIP Boxing Insider. Join the Insider group, and then you'll get access to the Discord. This man has got a lot of bollocks. Pedro says, how is Ramos ducking? I don't think he's ducking. He's fighting for an interim title. He moved up to the division. I think 60. Pedro, I think you bring up a good point. 160, obviously, with Shiraz moving to 68. How long are we really going to see Janabek at 60, right? Nobody will fight Janabek at 60. Adamas is there. And then Lara. So I think it's actually a good move. I mean, Ramos is only 24. People think in his camp he's going to have more power at 60, believe it or not. Allegedly, he was cutting a whole bunch of weight. I don't mind the Mosley Jr. fight. I got to be honest with you. Boxing fans, salute, brother. I appreciate the tip. Boxing fan says, I didn't win my bets, but learning with the best channel on YouTube makes me... Boxing fan, you're too kind, man. Sometimes it isn't all about winning. It's about the lessons we learn. But, yeah, the one that, you know, we got was that boxing money line one and some method of victory ones. But I know that there were a couple mismatches. I know on Gary from 3D, he actually was taking Sammy Goodman to win. So I don't know if that's where things got switched up. But either way, solid channel. Guys, if you're not following Gary from 3D, get over there. He's a Texas guy. We do lives all the time. He knows his stuff. Mar the Prince says, word is Tsutsumi is facing Jazza. Ooh, let's go. I didn't know that. Interested to see if Jazza can pull off the upset again. Guys, Jazza's the world champion now. How about that? Jazza has the belt. Before that Badr Gaziev fight, I was saying, like, when you look at Jazza Dickens' resume, I was saying, man, Jazz is one of these guys that it'll be like, what's a good adjective to say this? I guess something bigger than disappointing if Jazza would retire without a world title, because he's that good. He's fought for so long. I'm just pissed I didn't take him at 6-1. You know, looking back, it's always easy to play Monday morning quarterback. But, man, looking back, how did we not take Jazza at 6-1 against Badr Gaziev? I'd love to see the Tsutsumi fight. That's a tough fight. David Iser, Ramos is big, but damn, how convenient is it? It's very convenient, David. David, it's Jesus, this hair is gnarly. It's a business. Daily Dig says, crazy how Tab New Zealand only has 2 money lines available. Daily, I think it'll open up. It should open up. And if you're a Kiwi, your boy Beck, Sammy Beck, I think he's a Kiwi, fights out of Australia. He's the one that everybody's thinking, we're jumping on the dog. I think Beck beats Jarvis, by the way. Victor Vallejo, big love, brother. Facts, my guy. Boxing fan, I lost because nah. Don't blame it on you. I don't want to force anybody to even bet. You know what I'm saying? Pedro Ramos couldn't get a fight with Tellus over Boots, so he's moving up. It makes sense. Ramos couldn't get a fight with Tellus over Boots. Am I missing something here? Oh, yeah. He couldn't. I forgot about that. That's a good call. What's your goal with channel, bro? Where do you see it going? What's my goal with my channel? I've started my channel for a couple years now. I built it from scratch. We're at 26,000 people. I love where it's at. I'm a lifelong boxing fan. I started boxing Daily Dig when I was 7. I still coach boxing. I'm 43 now. I've watched all the fights. I grew up with one of my childhood best friends, became a world champion, a middleweight champion. Right there, Kelly the Ghost Pavlik. I always reference Kelly. Grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, big boxing town. This is exactly where I want my channel. I don't care about subscribers. I care about conversation. And so watching our Discord grow, watching our live stream grow. It's a Tuesday morning. We got 60 people on my live. Come on, dude. I love this. I'm not really a numbers guy. It's a good question, though. All right, guys, we're about 38 minutes in. I was going to build the parlay with you guys, but you guys aren't getting the fight, so I'll wait till tomorrow. I was going to build the parlay with you boys on the live stream for Australia for the card Wednesday night, but I'm hearing a lot of you guys are saying that you're not getting the options. So we'll wait till tomorrow. Hopefully by tomorrow, the odds will open up. If you're in the Discord, I've already shared what I like. Like I said, I like Beck. I think Nikita won't. I don't think Nikita will struggle. I don't think Zarafa will struggle. I think Jazzy Par is a lock. And then there's a couple upsets I'm thinking about jumping on. Also, there's an amateur who's making. I think he's having one of my guys is an amateur. He was sparring with. I told you about. What's this kid's name? Yeah. Blair Garrity. One of my guys is an amateur sparring with Blair Garrity. If you guys could get Blair Garrity either on the money line or stoppage, I think it's only an 8-rounder. I guess Garrity is the truth. So one of my guys, he lost to him coming up, and he said that Garrity could crack. So Garrity's opening up the card. And then the Clenshaw Seti. If I do take action on Clenshaw Seti, I'll let you know tomorrow. I watched Clenshaw fight 2 weeks ago. He didn't look good, man. I don't know if he just had a bad night. He was a 5-1 favorite and lost the decision, and he's having a quick turnaround in a tough fight. I mean, he got hit a lot 10 days ago. Already turning it around. He's fighting a kid, Isaiah Seti, who's 3-3. But Seti, he's a tough little fighter. So if I jump on that, I'll let you know. Jay Hill in the house well said. Yeah, guys, the one thing that you'll always expect when you come to my channel is authenticity. I'm in it for the love of the game. Also, if you didn't know, I've been in the MMA scene since Jump as well. You know, I used to only cover MMA on my channel. I used to only cover interviews that I would do with UFC fighters. You know, from 2015 to 2018, all the interviews were pretty much UFC fighters. And then from about 20. I really started my channel from scratch in 2023, right before the Bud Crawford Errol Spence Jr. fight, and really just lasered down on just boxing. But MMA is my wheelhouse too, in terms of watching all the fights, knowing the fighters. You know, I watch the regional MMA scene. One of my guys runs a regional promotion out of Washington D.C. in the that little D.C. area of D.C., Virginia, Maryland area. So yeah, if you have it, we're going to talk about the fights coming up in China. We have Dana White Contender Series tomorrow. I might sprinkle a little action. I'll let you guys know. Nobody doing it like boxing fan. You're too kind. The YouTube World Series. Let's get after it. What do you think of Paulo Cuso? Way boy Will. Paulo Cuso, good little man, great athlete. Everybody in Australia should know the last name of Cuso. Nice fighter. You know, he kind of gets overshadowed a bit in terms of, you know, what weight class he fights in. I like everything I see from Akuso. You know, when you have guys like Jai Apataya, I think Apataya should be pound for pound. I'm not lying. Maybe I'm just a little bit favored. I think Jai Apataya should be pound for pound. Nobody talks about him on the pound for pound list because he doesn't have those big names next to him. When he gets those big names next to him, maybe he has to go up to heavyweight. I think like other guys like Akuso could pop through. I think Justice Hooney, because the way he lost to Fabio, people forget. Dude, Justice Hooney's a great boxer. I'd love to see Justice Hooney versus Moses Atama. They're not going to make that fight. They're not going to make that fight, but I'd love to see Justice versus Moses. I think that's a great matchup. Damn, bet on him, Johnny. He's good. What do you think of Paulo? Oh, damn, bet on him, Johnny. He's good. We believe in you. DJ, that's my area. I found out about you with YouTube Shorts. No way. In Mexico. How awesome. Guys, I used to do only shorts. Johnny said a no. What did I say, Dwayne? I used to do a lot of shorts, and then YouTube started copywriting me. And like a year ago, I woke up and I had 2 copyright strikes. And they were saying they're going to take my channel. And I had no idea. I got 2 copyright strikes for doing shorts with just me talking. So I stopped doing shorts, but I'm gonna start doing shorts again. So Dwayne, if you found me in those shorts, mate, I'll start doing them again. Victor Vallejo, your Money Meech, your. I got Apataya beating everyone at heavyweight, including Moses. Yeah, I think, man, I would love to see Justice versus Moses first. We won't, but mate, people sleep on how good Justice is. The greatest lesson Justice is gonna take from that knockout loss to Wardley is fight here, not here. You could just tell the fight is in him though. Hooney couldn't stop it. He couldn't stop that dog in him. He wanted to exchange, and in a way, I mean, personally, that's why we love fighters. Jai, definitely pound for pound. Good fight idea. Moses versus Hooney. I like that idea, boys. Keon Davis set to return next week in Nebraska. 4-rounder. Mar, I need your breakdown on that, Mar. What do you make of that, Mar? Because you mentioned that for a reason. Daly's so good for Hooney. He did look so good, Daly. He looked great. David Eister says, I know a lot of people aren't high on Hrgovic, and he is flawed, but he would be a step up. I think he would be. That's another good matchup, David Eister. I wouldn't mind seeing Hrgovic. Hrgovic is a lot to deal with. Dude, round eight with Hrgovic and Adeleye was awesome. Especially how Adeleye just stands in front of him and yells, and Hrgovic almost out of spite, just complete disdain, just goes boom and drops him. I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we watching? This is insane. Fabio put him down. Pedro Hooney is such a high risk, low reward now that he lost his O. Hopefully that changes. It's a good point, Pedro. Very high risk. You're right. But the heavyweight division guys, in terms of skill set, when you talk about class, I mean, how many other heavyweight fighters are gonna, have that skill set like Justice? Man, he's a joy to watch. How he would just lean in on Wardley and work the body, come up top, his exits. He moves better. Dude, he moves better than some welterweights we watch. And he's huge. I don't think people really grasp how big Hooney is unless you meet him. Everything, he's just big. And to see him have that engine and that, he's going to make the adjustment. He's going to make that adjustment. I mean, if getting stopped in the 11th in a fight that you were cruising doesn't teach you, then nothing's going to teach you. But I think he makes that adjustment, even just coming with a frame, even in the 11th, rather than staying at range and trying to pop them, just come with the frame and just pick, level, pick to the body, exit. All he had to do, he could have framed for the last 4.5 minutes and won that fight. That's so frustrating to even think about. Could you imagine how frustrated Hooney has to be? I mean, Jesus Christ, boxing's such a tough sport, guys. Like Hooney's family, his coaches, himself. If I'm this frustrated about it, I mean, my hats and thoughts are definitely with Hooney, because that has to. It's hard to let go. I remember when I was 12. This is a 12-year-old memory. Now, in relation to my relationship with Kelly Pavlik, is we were winning all-star tournaments throughout the state of Ohio, throughout the state of Pennsylvania. We were from Youngstown, and I remember we're playing. It wasn't a championship game, but we were playing in a very important game, and it was, I think the last inning, and I hang this curveball. I have an 0-2 count on their best hitter, and Kelly was my catcher, and I was a pitcher, and I hang this curveball, and this kid hits it like to the moon. I still think about that. I was 12. We didn't even lose the game. It wasn't even like, didn't even cost us. We ended up winning the game in extras. But my point is, for me being 43 and remembering a 12-year-old memory that meant nothing, these fighters have everything on the line, and they're performing in front of the world in real time. Oh, God. It's why you'll never hear me bash fighters. It's why don't ever come to my channel if you want clickbait. Don't ever come here if you want, people to just bash guys who get stopped, because it's such a brutal, brutal path. All right, let's get to some of these comments. White looks shot. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button. Boxing fan, my best coach. Boxing fan's my manager here. David Adelaide went, then flipped him, and then got stopped. Hooney had a great game plan. He had to play with fire. Yeah, but he didn't have to play with fire late, Daily Dig. That still bothers me. I want to see Tuama Wardley. Do you think we'll Marla Prince, do you think domestically they'll do that? Are the boys, are Frank and the boys talking about Ituama Wardley? I mean, who wouldn't want to see that? Victor Vallejo, Philip definitely got chinned. He's still good. Hooney was winning easily, then boom, all over. Humble crumble, mate. It's a tough one to sit with, right? Pedro Cabrales, he lost to the only guy who could have done it to him. Heartbreaking. David Iser, Jabatai would do good at heavyweight. I think so. Big up Dillian White. He's a good guy. Yeah, no shade on Dillian White. Dillian White, hopefully, I don't know what the payouts were. Hopefully he got a nice pay. I mean, that's a dangerous fight. People talk about high risk, low reward. You're fighting a 20-year-old just guy with a trajectory to the moon. You know what I'm saying? I mentioned Ryakpo. David says, boxing fan. David says, I mentioned Richard Ryakpo, and he's a heavyweight too. He stopped a guy that went the full 6 with tell him. Whatever happened to Frank Sanchez? It's a good point. Let's see. In Ryakpo, what happened to Frank Sanchez? I mean, I think he just aged out. It says he's 33. Wow, it says he's only 33. That's insane. We haven't seen him fight. No, he fought in February. He fought against a guy named Echeverria. He got stopped in the 7th against Ajit in 2024. He stopped Junior Fa. What's his best win? The F.A. Ajagba fight. I think Sanchez is still a player. Maybe he's injured. He fought a 6-rounder in February. We'd like to see him fight again. I don't know. Does anybody have info on what happened to Frank Sanchez? Jermaine Ortiz canceled fight. Well, Jermaine Ortiz's fight against Steve Claggett is off, but I'm pretty sure they gave Jermaine Ortiz a new opponent. Oh, no, they didn't. Maybe it is off. I'm not seeing him on the books anymore. Yeah, good call. So I know Ortiz initially got a new opponent because he was supposed to fight Claggett, and I saw the fight offered on the book yesterday, but he's not showing up now, so maybe you're right. Sanchez, Luis Ortiz. No. Luis Ortiz fights next weekend? Are we serious? The big fella. Luis Ortiz might be 58 years old. He is fighting. His box rec says he's fighting a 10-rounder to be announced. His opponent isn't announced yet. Mate, when in the 1990s, the Cleveland Indians, my hometown baseball team, we're traditionally known to have, we recruit and they draft a lot of prospects from like the Dominican, Puerto Rico, the Caribbean area, Venezuela, which is South America, but I mean Omar Vizquel. And we had a closer in the 90s named Jose Mesa. And Mesa, my dad would call him Joe Table. The translation, right? It's a cheap joke. And Mesa throughout the season would look like Dennis Eckersley throughout the entire season. It's a baseball reference. Eckersley was one of the greatest closers. Played for the A's in his heyday. And then during big games in the playoffs in the World Series, he just would look like a shell of himself. And his birth certificate, my point is, Jose Mesa's birth certificate said he was 27. And mate, Google it. Mesa, when he was telling people he was 27, he looked like he was 42, 47. So a lot of these countries, like Luis Ortiz, his box rate doesn't even have his age up there. Luis Ortiz might be 46 years old, 47. Might be 50. He could crack, though. Ortiz got a new opponent. Yeah. Okay. Victor Vallejo, Johnny, you were right. Sam is good. Can fight. Good points. Appreciate you. King Ty, Ortiz got a new opponent. Okay, so King Ty, I thought that Jermaine had a new opponent, but I guess I was referencing the sports betting app. Because yesterday, that new opponent was on the betting app. You could bet, but now it's off. Maybe they're waiting for the odds. I think both guys are good, too. Heaven Sent, 50-44. Victor Vallejo, King Ty, no way. What's up, Heaven Sent? Pedro, who you got in GAR and hit? Ooh, is that official? Is Gary Antoine Russell versus Richardson Hitchens official? Are we gonna see a unification fight at 40? Or is this a hypothetical? Before I answer you, Pedro, let me know. Because sometimes news pops and I don't get it in real time. I heard Ortiz got a new opponent. Jay Hill, what's up? Heaven Sent, King Ty. What am I missing? What did King Ty say, Heaven Sent? Looks good. Yeah, he does. No, I'm a fan of Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz could punch, man. It's still crazy how he gave away the fight against Deontay Wilder. So Ortiz against Wilder is literally Hooney versus Wardley in terms of how it ended and what happened. GRA, okay, so Gary Antoine Russell says he's in negotiations with Hitchens. Mate, you guys know how high I am on Gary Antoine Russell. You do. I'm a big fan. He's actually one of my favorite fighters. From my perspective, I never bet on, I never tell you guys, who I'm a fan of. Like, if anything, I'll tell you guys I'm cheering for said fighter, but putting my money, like last weekend, I was cheering for Goodman. I hope Goodman won, but I bet all my money on Nick Ball. I'm a fan of Gary Antoine Russell, right? We won a lot of money on him stopping Rayo, and that was his performance. That was his breakout performance. He looked amazing against Rayo. And, he became a world champion. He learned some things against Puello. He started off hot against Alberto Puello, and then he started fading. Puello kind of, did what Puello does, methodically started winning rounds. And, it looked like the GAR's gas tank he kind of mismanaged it a little bit. Richardson Hitchens is no easy task, mate. Richardson Hitchens is going to, his jab, man. Hitchens' jab is amazing. His speed, his reflexes. We won a lot of money on Hitchens stopping George, and I told you guys in that breakdown, I was cheering for Kambosos. I'm a fan of George. I know his father, Jim. I'm a fan of what they've done for the sport of boxing in Australia and the sport of boxing internationally. I love how the Kambososes go about their business. But I picked Hitchens to stop him. And we won a lot of money. And I felt like Richardson was going to have a breakout performance. He was going to have that viral performance that was going to catapult his mental moving forward. So I am interested to see. I think moving forward, you should expect a more aggressive Richardson Hitchens. The one thing that he brings to the table is just a very sharp, disciplined, technical skill set. That is a tough one to call. It is, man. This is insane. I think I'd love to see that fight. I hope that fight goes down. I'd love to see that fight. It was a decision. I thought he stopped Rayo. Was it a decision? My bad. My memory, I misspoke. I feel like he should have. He didn't stop Ryo. It was a decision. He must have beat him every round then. I feel like the Ryo versus GAR fight was a wash, wasn't it? Ryo looked amazing, or GAR looked amazing in that fight. That's weird how my memory thought that he stopped him, but I guess he didn't stop him. Maybe when we were live streaming, I was saying that the fight should be stopped. Either way, yeah, you guys definitely are right. GAR and Africa have amateur history. Richardson's jab is deadly, bro. His jab's awesome. Batista 19-2. His last fight was against a 10-10 fighter this year, and the fight before all in the DR. Yeah, it's heaven set. It's tailor-made for Jermaine to show out. I'm a fan of Jermaine Ortiz. I love the technical approach. When you look at Jermaine's most recent performances, he has kind of been turning the dial up a little bit more, trying to be more offensive-minded. We know what he brings to the table with his defense. I thought he fought really well against Teofimo Lopez. I thought, he won more rounds than they gave him credit for. Hitchens has the best jab in boxing, and GAR 12-0'd him. Well, guys, Richardson Hitchens isn't the same guy he was even 2 fights ago. A lot of what Hitchens does, he's not the same guy. Confidence matters. Having the belt matters. We saw it against George. I think he had to grow into, certain guys are super talented. It's just sometimes it's a confidence issue for them to believe in their talent. And I think from here on out, you're going to see the version of Hitchens you saw against George. That's why I'm really excited to see him against GAR. Pedro Hitchens, Fresh BX, GAR ran it. Yeah, he did. That was the Amis, though. B-Money, he beat the hell out of Ryo, though. Yeah, that's probably why I thought he smashed Ryo, and that's why I thought he stopped him. But kudos to Ryo for not getting stopped. He got hit a lot, didn't he? Assad, Johnny, I got a contact. He told me Nikita can be beaten. Yeah. All right, we got a new insider. John Smith joined our boxing. John Smith. So now you have access to our Discord. Appreciate the support on the channel. You're gonna love the Discord too, bro. You're gonna see, all the boys with the stars. You're gonna see all the parlays, all the picks. And shout out to Cigar. Cigar gifted the membership, which I didn't even know you could do. Awesome. Cigar, thanks for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. Boxing fan. Victor Vallejo, big ups. Hitchens is not the same guy. I think Hitchens is leveled up. I got to be honest. Jermaine Ortiz is one of those fighters who needs to be on a turkey card. Yeah, I haven't sent. Jermaine Ortiz, I think Jermaine Ortiz, he's in search of that Hitchens performance. You know what I mean? What we just talked about, what Hitchens had against George, that builds so much confidence. You already have the skill set. It's already there. People see it in the gym. It's just you haven't shown it yet on a world level for one reason or another. I think Ortiz has that in him. I just think he hasn't had his viral moment. Was definitely washed 120. Yeah, okay. That's why I remember. Sam Beck's last fight was at 68. Yep. Mankey Crazy, what's up, buddy? Sam Beck's is a bigger guy. They're fighting at 54. We also know that Brock Jarvis, guys, is a 126er. Chaz, I won some money on this week in boxing. Oh, brother, the UFC, we got murked. Dude, we only don't do that. If you win, cash out, Chaz. Boys. Disclaimer, I have to tell you guys this once a week. If you win on anything, and it can pay a bill on anything, it can pay your cell phone bill, it can pay your rent, it can pay your card note, it can pay your light bill, cash out, and then start over. Or let's say you're a $50 bet guy, and you win 400. Cash out 350 and keep your $50 wager in, and then start over. Build from scratch. I call it foundation gambling, because not everybody's gonna be a professional bettor unless you have $1 million bankroll. You're not gonna be betting to get wealthy. We do have these guys in our Discord. We do see the receipts. We do know boys that are betting $50,000 on parlays. That's fine. I'm not that guy. That gives me stress. I would be bald. At 43, if I was that guy, I'd have gray hair. I'm 40. I had no grays. I attribute my no gray hair to my betting style. No, I'm kidding. I don't have grays, though. But you know what I'm saying. John Smith. No, I gifted a member. Someone give. Nice. I didn't even know you could do that. Heaven sent. Anyone heard about the 3 days of boxing for Canelo? Yep. 72 straight hours. I can't wait to break down Lester versus Mabili, by the way. Mankey Crazy. What's up, big dog? Welcome back, Chaz. Thanks, Johnny. I appreciate it. Yes, sir, Chaz. We got, have that, it's not just betting, it's winning. And when you win, you have to have methods around winning. Don't get greedy. When you win, you've won, cash out, start over. Have systems. Life is about systems. Oscar de la Pipa. My God, these guys show you the wins, but not the losses. Oscar, I show you everything. Oh, you mean the big gamblers? Yeah, the big boys. The big boys don't show the losses. So if you want to see the losses, this is how you pick up the losses, the pattern recognition in our Discord, like this weekend. You know who loses when they're not showing you your parlays, right? From my end, I'm as transparent as anyone's gonna be. That's why you guys are here. You guys see my wins and my losses. It actually makes me a smarter fight mind, because then I put more energy into the losses moving forward so I don't lose. I hate losing. But a couple weeks ago in our Discord, you see the boys showing you like $12,000 cash outs, $50,000 cash outs, $8,000 cash outs. And then this week, what did you see? not a lot of big cash outs. So if you guys are one of those guys in the Discord who are like, oh, I wonder what when the boys aren't winning and they're not showing you the wins, then they're losing. That's the best way of putting it. But you should never hope on people to lose. I want everybody to eat. Daniel Dubois parted ways with Don Charles. I don't know how I feel about DDD now, boys. DDD, man. He didn't get, man, he's just mentally, Daniel Dubois, he's still young. He can figure it out. It's tough being a fighter, boys. Getting stopped, becoming a world champion, thinking you overcame your demons, thinking that the narrative on you was a quitter and you can't take a shot, and then you overcome that and you become a world champion, and then you have to rebuild because you get stopped again. And then the narrative restarts. And then they say you quit again. And then they say you question hard. Like, not everybody is wired to be able to deal with that. And remember, guys, these fighters are doing it in real time in front of the world. So you bring up DDD, man. I just, I hope it's a tough path. It really is. Ortiz Mercado is one of the fights. I want to see Tito Mercado fight, mate. But more, I think he's injured. Rumor is, he's still not ready. Didn't he? I think he had a shoulder procedure. Boxing fan, John Smith. That's right. Sup, my man. I'm glad you're in the building. Mankey crazy. My book sends messages about taking a break, but only when I win. Isn't that funny, Mankey? How funny is that, right? Heaven says, good opponent for Ituama is Hrgovic. Hrgovic got a chin and a higher fight IQ compared to Dillian White, but vulnerable to get knocked out. Do you think... I don't think that Ituama would struggle with Hrgovic. I just think, man... Yeah, no, Hrgovic, tough guy. Only, I think, 33. Great amateur. A lot of amateur fights. He's, he fights everybody. Good pro career. It's when you're at that heavyweight division and you combine speed and power, Ituama is fast, dude. And he got one-punch knockout power. Hrgovic is standing there like this, punching Adeleye. I'm like, bro... Ituama, I think that's easy work. I want to see Ituama versus Huni. I know it won't get made. But I want, in terms of styles, if I had a perfect world where I can make fights, right now I would take Justice Huni versus Moses Ituama, because I want to see stylistically if Moses could handle that fight style. But I know it won't get made. Maybe down the road, they're both still young. Johnny, what happened to the Chechen Abe Lincoln-looking guy that was in the UFC? Him and Chimaev were supposed to be the next. You're probably talking about Shara Bullet. He lost. Shara Bullet is, I think he's a Dagestani striker, if that's who we're talking about, with the one eye, with the red hair. He lost to MVP Michael Venom Page in his last fight. I think he's fighting again, though, if that's who we're talking about. Mankey says, are you going to do the stats? Yeah. Mankey, this week I got Stats Don't Lie coming for Chamberlain, Rafferty. I got a bunch coming. I'm doing a couple Aussie ones today. So my first upload for Stats Don't Lie will be today. I have a boxing session in about 25 minutes down in my gym. So I got to close it off here soon. Shavkat will be fighting. Will he get the title shot? Both him and Arman Nita. Yeah. I mean, Arman Sarukian kind of screwed himself a bit by pulling out. And then he really hasn't helped himself with some of the tweets he said recently about not really wanting to fight or needing to fight. So Sarukian's a dog, though. Joseph P, what are the locks? Just tuning in. Joseph P, it's a little bit early. I'm going to be giving you my locks for tomorrow night in Australia. I'll be giving you those later on today. Boxing fan, we promote Johnny. You guys are beasts. Blue collar, Hergovich, Wardley is the fight to make. Hey, I ain't mad at it. Heaven sent. Cody says, what is Brock Jarvis? Says he's 22-2, but the Sydney says so. I don't know, Cody. I didn't see the Sydney poster. That's insane. We've seen him. Yeah, we know he's not 7-0. Pedro Tarver said Kiki Torres. Dude, Pedro, you boys know how I feel about Kiki Torres. I talk about him so much on the channel. People think I glaze on him, but Kiki Torres, I think Moses is too much. I do. I think Moses. I just think Moses is seasoning, dude. From a natural ability side, and Kiki's. You know, you put Kiki in the category of, you know, American heavyweights. We know it's thin there, so. I think that Moses would handle Kiki right now. Oscar de la Pipa, let's bet our rent on. We ain't betting on rent on nothing. Let's bet on rent. Coach Bermudez in the house, my guy. Tip the bartender. Coach Bermudez, mate, I appreciate the support. You called it, man. You know, Coach Bermudez came on the live stream. He's obviously in the Discord, supporting the channel. Love the super chat and the advice, tip the bartender. But Coach, you were the one saying that don't sleep on Nova. You know, if my memory serves me correctly last week during the live stream, you said that you had coached Nova, and then you were talking about how you had coached TJ Doheny when we were talking about the Goodman-Nick ball breakdown. But Nova, I mean, he looked like a guy who was prepared to me. Nova fought his ass off. So the whole narrative, you know, people were passing this rhetoric around last week on YouTube boxing about how Nova was on holiday. That wasn't my insider information, boys. That wasn't me who said that, by the way. When I tell you who says it, when I get insider info, I let you know. They were obviously wrong. Nova looked prepared to me. He fought his ass off. Mars says, no, Zabit Magomedov, his name. Yeah, Zabit ended up becoming a doctor, Mar. Zabit was a striker. Yeah, he did look like Abraham Lincoln. He had all this hype. People thought he was going to be a potential champion. I'm pretty sure, look this up, I think he went to medical school. DWS coming up. We got a lot going on, boys. You boys are popping. John Smith, happy to be here. Great to see someone I know. I love my boxing, bit out of date, so I don't know a lot of these new guys. John Smith, we could talk about the old heads, too. I'm an old head, too, brother. Victor Valahay, dude, Moses, fast leg frame. Moses is nice, man. Mar the Prince, Polanco's coach. Polanco's coach. Yeah. Coach Bermudez, you're a G, man. Coach Nova and TJ. Yeah, and Coach Bermudez, you said last week, mate, you were like, people are sleeping on Nova. You were like, I don't know if he's going to win. And you shared that. I didn't realize that Nova had an Achilles tear a couple fights ago. Nobody talks about that. That was a good chat we had last week, man. We appreciate you in our chat. I appreciate you on the channel. You bring a lot of value to the conversation. Yeah, Rohan Polanco's coach, mate. Rohan Polanco's an animal. You know who's high on Polanco is Muscle Brown. Every third day, Muscles texts me. He's like, man, Rohan's going to be a world champion. Rohan Polanco's the guy. He loves Polanco. I think that's because the Puerto Rican roots. Yenli Hernandez. Damn, dude. Yeah, see, Yenli's one of my favorite guys at the moment. Yeah, Yenli, people, I can't talk enough about how he frames and that. When Yenli puts you on the ropes and he's going, dude, come on. Guys, I gotta end this. We're 70 minutes in. I gotta go train right now. I got a session downstairs in my gym in 20 minutes. And then I'm uploading a Stats Don't Lie video for the Australian card Wednesday night. I'll be going live one more time today. We got a lot to talk about. I appreciate the support. This was a fun one. Appreciate all the new subscribers, the likes, everybody who left a super chat. You guys are beasts, and our channel is growing.